Days like today, I really appreciate concealer. Welcome back to the Chan. So, I really need to stop using the word so. I use it way too much. Okay, today I wanted to talk about tips regarding the academy, the good old police academy. I've seen in the comments that a lot of you are going into the police academy and you kind of want a little bit more tips on how you can successfully complete the academy. Keep in mind, every state varies. You just have to look up the criteria for what state that you actually live in. As far as the academy goes, let's start with that. If you guys haven't seen my academy experience video, I will leave it in the screen and also in the description box down below so that you can check that out. In that video, I explain how my experience was in the academy, and I also give you tips and tricks that I think are helpful in order to kind of get you through the academy. But since you guys wanted a little bit more in-depth kind of video, that is what I'm doing today. Let's start off with the two different academies that you can technically get into. The way that I obtained a job, I put myself through the academy. There are a lot of colleges. People can pay their way through an academy. Contact whichever school that you want to go through. You just have to make sure that they actually offer this course. It's considered a course. Determine the school that you want to go to, then you put in your application, and that starts the paper process. They approve your application. They give you a list of things that you have to get prior to going into the academy. The office administration is very helpful with helping you with your application and the process when you're applying yourself. Once you are approved, this is when you should start doing the physical. Quite honestly, you should be starting the physical agility training months prior. I can't stress this enough, and I've stressed this a bunch of times in my other academy related video. You need to make sure you're in shape. I can't say that enough. There are so many people that I saw go through the academy that I went through, paid their way through, and they weren't ready for the physical agility training of the academy. That is the hugest part of any kind of academy. You need to be on top of your fitness. Even prior to applying, I recommend you start going to the gym, you start doing strength training, do a lot of cardio, go running. If you're not an all-star runner when you first start off, who cares? That's not your goal. Your goal is to be able to pass the physical exam. So you're working your way up. You're not necessarily starting off as an all-star. You need to work your way up. So any little bit helps. So I recommend even doing jiu-jitsu, doing any kind of martial arts to even prepare yourself for the academy, because that's what's gonna count on the street. Martial arts is a huge portion of keeping yourself safe on the street as a police officer. So I highly, highly recommend getting into something like that. I've noticed that if you have a lot of muscle, it is harder for you to run. Now, that might not be the case for everyone. I've seen it in my academy class. I wouldn't say lifting is gonna be your main priority during the academy. Obviously, you wanna remain strong because you have to do defensive tactics, and you wanna be able to do the push-ups and the sit-ups to the best of your ability. So I personally would recommend to not lift as much. I would focus more on cardio. I personally found that doing light lifting on a regular basis, nothing too crazy, but just being able to get my chest muscles stronger, back muscles especially, just to do a light lift on a regular basis, and that helped me with the push-ups. I know that females struggle a lot with the push-up portion, but with hard work and dedication, you can definitely do them. Like I said in my other video, I wasn't able to do any kind of push-ups at first. If you become friends with anyone that's in the class, go to the gym together. I also want to point out that you need to drink a lot of water. Don't become dehydrated, because then you're just gonna feel like crap. I also recommend not drinking a lot during the academy, because it just sets you back instead of pushing forward and becoming a stronger person. It kind of decreases that. So try to stay away from alcohol as much as you can. I definitely recommend greens, good proteins, and decrease in sugar and alcohol. Let's move on to the academic portion of the academy. Make sure that you put 110% into everything that you do. Focus on studying, meet up with other people that are in your class and study with them. Use the flashcards. You can actually highlight in your books. If your instructors allow that, then definitely take advantage of that, because I think that helps, because it points out what you really need to focus on. In our academy, we had binder checks, so just keep that in mind. If you are a messy person, one of my biggest tips to you is try to become less of a messy person. Instructors are going to want to see that you are organized, that you can stay on top of your shit. Organization is a big part of police work in general. If you are a messy person, try to decrease that a little before you go into the academy. Even my gym bag was organized, my duty bag. Even when you think that your instructors aren't looking, they are. They're watching your every move. Don't be immature. Oh my gosh. There was a lot of people that acted like they were kids, and it kind of showed, and we would get in trouble for that. So just be respectful. You can obviously have fun when you're on your breaks, but don't act like kids. One time when we were at a different facility, a guy in my class actually kicked a hole in the wall, and we got in so much trouble. I was mortified. I was so embarrassed, because I was like, is he serious? You're in a police academy. Act like grown-ups. You're trying to become a cop after this. They also give you uniforms. So with the uniforms, make sure that you lint roll everything. You might not even think that there's lint on you, but there's probably lint somewhere, and you will get bashed for it. Make sure you don't have any Irish pendants. That's what they called it in my academy. What I mean by that is like strings hanging. You know how your seams sometimes have strings? Make sure you do not have any of those. Some of the guys started bringing little lighters so that we can burn them off really quick. Iron your uniforms every night. I know that sounds like a pain in the ass, and guess what? It is. Just like shining your boots is a royal pain in the butt, but you have to do it, because if you look like a slob, you'll get yelled at. Just make sure everything is ironed, everything looks nice, everything's tucked in properly. On my first day of the academy, they at least showed us and told us what they expect. So then when we showed up the next day, we made sure that it was squared away. I think I'm gonna do a boot shining video, because I struggled with that at first, but now I feel like I kind of have it down. So I'll share with you guys what I at least do for shining my boots. Certain ways that you can even see if you're interested in the academy is by going on ride-alongs. I always did a bunch of ride-alongs prior to applying anywhere, because I really wanted to see if this was something that I was kind of interested in, and that kind of gives you a perspective on what you're going to be dealing with. Another tip that I definitely recommend is getting everyone's phone number, or at least email, so that you can contact each other if you have any questions. I know in my academy we actually passed along a sheet where we just filled out our name, phone number, and then our email address, and then they kind of just passed it out that way. The academy is pretty straightforward. Don't overthink it. Once you start overthinking things, it kind of messes with your mind. It alters your performance. Take it day by day so that you don't get overwhelmed, and you will do perfectly fine. At the end of it, you basically are a tight-knit family, because you see everyone every day. Get to know one another, because you're going to be with each other for such a long time. Whether you're paying your way through or whether you got picked up by an agency, you're probably going to see these people for the rest of your life if you stay in this field. Don't sound like a quiet little church mouse. Project your voice, because guess what? That's what you have to do on the street. It's all about police presence. And when it comes to the defensive tactics, really soak in all of that information, because there's a lot that there's gonna be thrown at you. That, I think, was like the worst part of the academy. Your body is just so sore and beat up, because that's basically what you're doing. You're beating each other up. As far as the evac goes, that's the driving portion of the academy. That I think was the most fun. Being trained in driving, I think definitely makes you a better driver regardless, to prevent accidents, whether you're driving in your personal car or the police car. There's been so many accidents I've avoided because I was paying attention, and I've had that police evac training. You just go throughout the different courses that they set up for you. One was serpentine, little zigzag, and then you have to go backwards. That took me the longest to finally get down, but once I did, oh, I went front and backwards without touching a cone. It was amazing. But it took me a really long time to get a hold of it. There's been so many ups and downs that I had to accomplish during the academy, during my job to begin with. But you learn from those mistakes, and I think that it personally makes you a better police officer and a better person in general. So if you mess up in the academy, don't worry about it. Just take a mental note and never do that again. Correct yourself. So I think that that's basically everything that I want to talk about. I don't think that there's really much more to say. Hopefully I covered everything for you guys. I'm gonna do a Q&A on Saturday, so if you guys have any questions pertaining to law enforcement in general, head over to my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. Good luck to everyone who is in the academy or who is about to start the academy. You guys got this. I know you do. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later.